the Carnival Fantasy suddenly left the cruise fleet for Carnival during the COVID pandemic. This beloved fantasy ship is remembered fondly by those fortunate enough to have cruised. Even those of us who never cruised on the ship, I think we remember it with a sense of curiosity and respect. Sadly, the Carnival Fantasy never got its final farewell. So we're going to say goodnight and farewell to the ship tonight. See, I still can't get it right. So with the help of James from Travel Mobile, first time on our channel ever.
Yay.
Yeah. For those of you watching earlier may know that's not exactly true because we messed up. But yeah, so James has been on over a dozen cruises. I believe he said the total is about 17. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he shares his travel experiences, whether by land or by sea, on his channel on YouTube, Travel Mobile, or on his Instagram account. And he and his wife, Deb, are just awesome people that we've really enjoyed talking to and getting to know, both through the Instagram and YouTube and on a personal basis.
Yep.
So he's been on Carnival Fantasy a few times, so that's why we're having him on board here to talk to us tonight.
Exactly.
And without further ado, we should introduce him.
Here's James.
James!
James!
It's good to finally see you.
You too, guys. You too.
Wow.
It's been so long.
A little bit of technical difficulties. Sorry about that awkwardness. Joy may have a question for you that sounds really familiar in just a minute here. But since we've had a bit of a malfunction with the let's say it's human error. Let's just say somebody didn't press the right button to get us started. But we do need to say hi to some people in the house. MGM Family Travel, we already said hi to you when we weren't live, but now that you're live, we got to say hi to you again. And we want to say hi to Q's Cruisers. It's always great to have you here. And very excited to see Matthew and Lauren.
Oh, wow.
So happy to. We love Matthew and Lauren so much. Matthew and Lauren, you need to come be on our show.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if you'd ever be able to make to one of these with the time difference. They're out in California. If you haven't checked out Matthew and Lauren, you got to check out their channel. They do a lot of great videos.
We like them.
So welcome to the show. I'm glad you didn't see us make any mistakes tonight. And
we're perfect.
Yeah, right. And we got to say hi to Chris, our buddy Chris. It's good to see you again, Chris.
Yeah.
And
Chris.
A lot of you, and James, I think you're familiar with Chris and a lot of the people we've mentioned here because you're active on these live chats too, and you've got the YouTube videos and the Instagram, and like we were saying before when we were not actually live, that we can look at you as kind of a resident expert. We're, even though we have a cruise channel, we've done a half dozen cruises. It would be more if it wasn't for things stopping recently, but you've been on a bunch of cruises, and you've been on, a few cruises, even on just Carnival Fantasy. So this might come as a shock to you, but we've got some questions we want to ask you about Carnival Fantasy. So are we ready to talk about Carnival Fantasy?
Sure.
And James, in case I didn't say it the second time, we're happy to have you here. Glad you could make it.
Well, thank you so much for the invite.
No problem at all. So Joy, do you have a question?
I do.
Oh, good.
James, when was the first cruise on Carnival Fantasy, and where did you sail from?
June 6th of 2010. We had just sailed on the Carnival Liberty out of Miami, and we were looking for another cruise. By that time, we had gotten addicted. As most of people know, that once you go on one, it becomes an addiction very quickly. And we found out that Charleston was getting a cruise port. I mean, they were going to start sailing out of Charleston. And we had been on the Triumph and the Liberty, and we wanted to try the Fantasy class out. And that was a perfect opportunity. It's about a 7-hour drive from where we lived at the time. So driving to Charleston was cool because I want to see the city because it has a cool vibe to it, some great architecture, right on the river and near the Atlantic. And so it was an opportunity to see a cool city and try the Fantasy class.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have another question.
Okay, go for it.
What were your first impressions of the ship, and what ship features stood out to you?
Well, the fact that it was smaller than the Liberty and the
smaller
and the Triumph, it was kind of I wouldn't say as a shock because I'd done a lot of research on it, but they had redone at that time. They had redone the water slides and all on the back of the ship. They had done quite a bit of stuff, and to try and make it look more modern. At that point, it was 20 years old.
Wow.
So it was the first of the fantasy class, hence the name Fantasy Class.
Right.
So it was cool seeing that class of ship, and it was a unique experience. At that time, there was no Guy's Burgers.
Oh man, yeah.
Just like a little stand up front on the Lido deck. So there wasn't a whole lot to offer, but a cruise is a cruise.
Exactly.
So we enjoyed the ship. We went to the back of the ship. I think that very first day, I think everybody goes because you're just drawn to the Lido. So you go to the Lido and you find the closest restaurant that doesn't have a line, and you sit down and you eat a quick bite. So I think we found the pizza right off the bat and had a slice of pizza at the back of the ship.
Nice.
That's not a bad way to start a cruise.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about from that first cruise? Can you tell us what you remember about the onboard activities during that cruise?
Well, there might have been a few libations.
Sounds good.
But the activity that I remember the most on that cruise was I can't remember what day it was, but they had a hypnotist on board. And my son one of my sons got hypnotized. And this is something I didn't think I'd ever see in real life. Because I knew there was no way I was going up on that stage. And for some reason, this kid jumps up on there and volunteers. And the guy had him thinking he was having a baby. He was up there struggling to push a baby out.
My goodness.
And I'll never forget the end of it. And he said, now, when you get back to your room and you see yourself in the mirror, you're going to remember everything that happened.
Oh my goodness.
And so we immediately took him back to our cabin, and he looked in the mirror and he just says, OMG. He said, did I just do that? And so this is the kid who's not he was kind of like me in school. He was real shy and kind of like sit in the back of the room and you're not out there doing too much in front of everything.
Right.
So to see him go through that experience was truly unique, and we had a great time with it. Fabulous time.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I can't imagine volunteering for the hypnosis. I can't imagine somebody that I knew well volunteering and actually having it work, because it always seems to me, and I think that's kind of what you're saying, is that it always seems to me like it doesn't seem real. It seems like it's a setup.
He told me later that he knew what was going on to a degree, but he was just so, I don't know, enthralled or just so caught up in it.
Yeah.
He didn't really understand. He really felt like he was real relaxed and could do anything he wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's great. That's one of the things that you're always saying about going on a cruise, whether it's food or an activity, just removing yourself from your comfort zone and going and trying something you normally wouldn't do. Because
exactly.
you're among people you probably for the most part won't see
again. You're never going to see them again.
Right. And that's great that, if you're somebody that might not normally volunteer to do something that's that center of attention type thing, that it's great that he did that. I think that's awesome.
This is the time to get out of your shell.
But with YouTube now, it used to be what happens on a cruise ship stays on a cruise ship.
Yeah. Exactly.
With YouTube, it stays forever in digital format.
Right.
Oh boy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's something to keep in mind, I suppose. So maybe don't volunteer me. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. We're not doing that. Don't raise my hand for me. So no. So one of the ship's most unique features that we've heard about is a lounge that's called Cat's Lounge. Yeah. Did you spend any time in that kind of unique venue?
Well, the first day, you get on the ship, you're exploring everything, and I do remember going by and I seen this big Campbell soup can, and I'm like, what is this? I thought it might have been some unique art, which it is in itself. So we walked through the whole lounge and looked at all different things. I think there was a Statue of Liberty in there.
Right.
There's just some unique, it was almost like going to Andy Warhol Museum and seeing, how he would paint I guess Campbell's soup and stuff like that. And he would show that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's really unique, and that's one of the things with that was Joe Farkas, the interior designer on those earlier Carnival cruise ships. He came up with some really unique designs, and I heard him in an interview saying that his idea was to make the interior of the cruise ship an experience, so you knew there was no question in your mind that you were not in a hotel, you were not at home, you were somewhere unique.
Exactly.
And so he went, and some people were like, yeah, it's a little too flashy, too colorful, too flamboyant, or whatever. But I think he achieved what he was trying to do, and I think Cat's Lounge was really an example of that. To be able to sit in a sardine tin and sit there and have drinks at a booth, it's wacky, and but it's also fun. So I like that idea.
Yeah.
What other questions do you have for James?
So James, your next cruise on the Carnival Fantasy did not sail from Charleston. Could you tell us about that?
Well, we found out that cruising was coming back to Mobile. In fact, when we first moved to Alabama, that was one thing that I explained to my wife, that since we're moving to Alabama, we'll be close to a cruise port. Well, it wasn't too long after we moved to right near Montgomery that cruising shut down out of Mobile, Alabama. So that was kind of almost a deal breaker for her. Like, you told me you're taking me out of my home state and you're taking me to another state, and then now we can't go to a quick and drive, just a short drive to a cruise port. It's only like 2 hours from Montgomery to Mobile. So we decided, well, let's see what happens. 2016, the Carnival Fantasy comes back to Mobile.
Yay.
And so the inaugural cruise, November 9th, we were able to get on that cruise. So we found out about it. We want to be on the very first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was they had to redo the whole terminal and make it better.
Right.
They got the big moon pie.
Wow.
Tied in with it because they do a moon pie drop here for New Year's Eve.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
So moon pie was a big deal about it. If you've ever seen the trail maids, I think that's what they call them. That's the girls that dress up in them long hoop dresses.
Oh, sure.
They come out for special events, things that happen here, and they were all lined up in the terminal greeting guests as they come in and everything. So
wow.
Get on
Did
that.
everyone get a moon pie?
They weren't giving out moon pies though, so it kind of shocked me.
Come on.
If you're gonna put the moon pie in the sign, we should have got moon pies because that's what they throw out at the Mardi Gras parades here. Is a big thing is moon pies. They throw moon pies.
Oh,
wow!
I'm glad I don't go there. I'd be so big.
I get hit in the head with a moon pie, get hurt. No, I learned something I didn't know. I didn't know that they had that tradition there. That's really
cool.
really really clever and that unique. So
if you're hungry, grab a moon pie.
Yes. So the next question I was going to ask, and I think you already started to answer it, but I'm going to dig a little deeper. Is how was sailing from Mobile compared to other ports could be? Because you've sailed out of quite a few ports from when we talked before. It seems like you've sailed, I'd say, half dozen different ports, but I think it might even be more than that. But how is sailing from Mobile different than other ports you've experienced?
Yeah,
well, it was rough that first day getting in because everybody was still being somewhat trained and new at it. So it was hard getting the people. I heard several people complain. They had drove over from New Orleans and they were talking about that they didn't like. They said, well, this ain't like New Orleans. It's taking us too long to get through security, to get our cards and get on the ship. But, by that time I think we had just became platinum. So we were ready to go on the ship and get on there.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we were like, let's go, let's get on the ship. But at the same time, I was understanding that people were still learning. A lot of new people, even though they had cruised from Mobile before, there was a lot of things they changed about the terminal. They redid a lot of security there, and they had people that obviously had worked there before, wasn't working there this time. So it was a lot of retraining and a lot of people that were new on board. So it was going to take a while. You had to be a patient to go on the very first cruise.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like
they're working out the kinks.
That's right. Yeah, it's like you hear when they talk about the maiden voyage of a new ship. There's certain things that just aren't quite figured out yet. They got to work through that. It makes me wonder if the first cruises here starting up hopefully soon, if there's going to be some of that happening then too, because they'll have
there will be.
Yeah, even if you have some of the same crew, you might have different people working together than have in the past, and there may be some of these special new rules they have that could be interesting.
So tell us about the food on board the Carnival Fantasy. What did you enjoy the most?
Oh, food.
Well, I think every time you walk by an ice cream machine, it's just like it had my name flashing on it.
Yeah,
You have to walk by, you have to get it because it's
calling your name.
That's the first time I'd ever been on anything like that, and you have the ice cream machine just there waiting for you. Every time you crave a coffee, the same way. I love coffee, and I you can go up there and get coffee anytime. The food was, at that time I think we still had I think we had a lobster night on there. I know they don't have it on most of the sailings now, but we did have a lobster night on there. So my wife loves lobster, so that was a great addition for that. They don't have the specialty steakhouse, so not having that, we missed that part right off the bat, because that's we do that every cruise. The specialty steakhouse is a staple of our cruise adventure on Carnival. Every time you have to do steakhouse.
We do that too.
We can relate to that. Relate to that. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's kept us away from taking certain ships, is just that they didn't have a steakhouse. We're like, well, it's got Guy's Burger Joint, but it doesn't have the steakhouse.
Yeah. And he loves his ribeyes.
Yeah.
Oh, those cowboy ribeyes are the best.
They're awesome. See, I told you we have some common food tastes. That's definitely for sure. And so the seas, and I know I would think it would be hard to keep separate the different cruises when you go on the same ship, because we haven't repeated a ship yet.
Nope.
So I don't know if
Liberty?
No, we've only been on it once. Yeah, okay. we keep trying different ships and different cruise lines. So I wonder if these different cruises on that same ship kind of blur together. Maybe they do. I don't know.
We're an equal opportunity passengers.
Yeah, something like that. But you kind of alluded to it before. They made this particular sailing special because it was the return to Mobile. It was may have been a little rough with training and stuff like that, but I think you said there was a party or celebration or something.
Yeah, the last night before coming back into port, they had a big party in the atrium. As you know, the atrium is a big hub for parties and dance-offs, and that's usually a great place for the last show. The cruise director would come out and do a 70s or 80s party. Lots of them like to do the 80s music, or depending on what show just released or just what show you got out of, they do a big show in the atrium based on that. So that was the first time we'd ever cruised with Mikey. I can't remember his last name, but he was the cruise director on that cruise, and that's the best thing I remember about him. He was like the atrium is all goes up all 11 decks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that deck, and it's like every deck was crowded with people, and I remember seeing him just looking up at people and just standing in awe, and he was looking, like, wow, this is great, and this is crazy, it's cool, and the balloon drop was cool, and they were giving out free champagne toast and everything, and it was of course they played Sweet Home Alabama by of course. By Leonard Skinner. You have to do that every cruise anyway, but that absolutely. One just kind of fit in, and they had that big sign that you saw in the earlier picture that says Sweet Home Alabama. So
yeah.
And we met some people on that cruise that we still keep in touch with today. We were just in Myrtle Beach for a trip, and a lady we met on that cruise actually lives in Murrells Inlet, which is right next to Myrtle Beach, and she found out we was in town, and she invited us down. We met at a restaurant, then had some breakfast together, and just talked about some good old times together.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is cool. And I see MGM Family Travel made a comment about that we should cruise together. I'm guessing that would refer to back to the food, the steak. I'm guessing.
I'm up for it. Yeah,
that sounds like fun.
Let's go.
Let's be a fun group.
I know.
Sure. So
the guys could go to the steakhouse and the women could go shopping.
As long as you keep give me the room key, so I can hold on to that for you. Yeah, don't you want some steak?
Yeah,
or a nice
Steak
Nice
is okay.
Shrimp cocktail. Okay, we're getting off topic again. So let's ask another question about fantasy.
Okay.
The Carnival Fantasy or the fantasy class in general. So James, how would you say that and you kind of already answered this question a little bit, but what else would you say? What else would you say about how a fantasy class ship is different than taking than taking a cruise on a larger, newer Carnival ship?
Well, the biggest thing is that there's very few balcony type cabins on the fantasy class. They did retrofit some of the other fantasy class and put some balconies on there, and they added some different features to some already. I think they made some extended balcony type on some other of their ships. I can't remember if I know it's not the Elation. I want a Sensation, I think, has had some additions to it, which the Sensation is supposed to be coming to Mobile soon. One of my inside sources here said it should be coming into port here shortly. So I don't think they're going to do a rally like they did for the Breeze and the Vista in Galveston, but I've made it be known that I want to know what day it's coming in, because I want to go down there and take some pictures and get some video when it comes in.
I would want to do that too if we were closer to a port.
Yeah, and see, and did you pick up on that? This is what I was telling you. James he's not only been on a lot of cruises, he is hooked up. He's got information. He's got inside connections. I'm telling you. Yeah. This is why we need to have James on again and even more often.
Exactly.
So watch for that invite in your email, James.
Okay.
We're going to have questions. Because Carnival Fantasy isn't the only ship that he's been on, guys. If you're keeping track, 17 some odd cruises, and I think 3 of them were on Fantasy.
That's correct.
We got a whole bunch more to talk about.
You can tell us the secrets.
We could learn a lot from you.
Insider scoop.
Yes. And so, let's welcome a couple more people in. And Chris is agreeing with MGM Family Travel. Wouldn't it be great? Let's just all go on a cruise right now.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun, guys?
Chris has become a great friend of mine on Instagram and Twitter. We chat back and forth a lot.
Isn't this
good guy?
Isn't this guy awesome? Let's switch topic. We're going to switch for 5 minutes here from Carnival Fantasy to Chris and how awesome Chris is. We love Chris too. Yeah, let's have a salute to Chris. Yeah, not a roast. No, that's different. This is one of the things that we've found. People talk about the cruise community, and I know a lot of people that talk about the cruise community, they're kind of talking about all the different YouTubers that are putting out stuff, but sometimes you're talking about all the people that cruise, all the crew, all, whatever. But when I think of the cruise community online, I've got to think about people that just have awesome Instagram accounts like Chris, and people that have the YouTube channel, sure, people that have great Twitter accounts, people that have great blogs, and people that just show up for these live shows and are supportive. And you kind of, even if you never show your face on camera, you get a chance to get to know people really well. So that's, we couldn't agree with you more.
They get our addiction.
Yes, Chris is awesome. Yeah. And you know who else is awesome? And it's an indication that the party has truly started. Beach, please.
Oh,
in the house.
Yeah.
Mike and Betsy are 2 of my favorite people to watch on YouTube.
Aren't they awesome? We love them. Yeah. And
I found them through their hike to Angel's Landing in Utah, and just watched their interaction with one another. It reminded me a lot of how me and my wife go about the back and forth. And they're just a great couple. They enjoy the hikes. They love cruising the most, I know, but they enjoy their hikes. Yeah,
and they're so fun to watch. And well, I guess this is what we're doing now. We're going through everybody that's showed up live. So for those of you who are watching this later, years from now, and you're like, what is this Carnival Fantasy they're talking about? And what is this COVID thing? I think I heard about it in my history class. Yeah. No, for those of you watching in the future, whether it's tomorrow or years from now, you got to show up for the live.
Yeah.
7:00 Monday night.
It's the best.
Or show up for lives on any of these great channels. See people that are putting the comments in here, the chat. And now's as good a time as any to say #creator. Add it in there if you haven't made yourself known as a creator on here, do that so people
Hashtag
know.
creator.
Yeah, so people know that you're a creator. Another creator that we love, we had her on here. What was it? Last week?
I think, yeah, it was last week.
Kelly's Cruises, Crafts, and Quilts. Our friend from Canada who had some great information on Alaskan cruises.
About Alaska, yep.
That's right. And let's see here. I'm losing the place here.
What the differences were from when she cruised in the beginning and cruised in modern times. I mean,
what exactly are you saying?
I was trying to.
Okay, yes, kind of like we need to get back to this. James, we're sorry.
Sorry, James.
we had a moment there. Sometimes it happens. But we got to get back on topic. Yes. Kelly did a great job of talking about her Alaskan cruises from the past and from the more recent past. We also need to say hello to another great channel, Griswold Family Vacay. Just saw them live the other night. Another channel. I bet another channel that James knows. It's all like a one big happy family here. And then there's California Cruiser. Mm-hmm. Got them in the house. So yeah, we got to get back on track here. So back
to a question for you, James. Your last cruise.
Oh wait, no. I think Betsy is. I think Beach Please is talking about us. Oh, but maybe they're talking about James. Maybe they're talking about everybody in the room.
What are they? What are they saying?
Well, you have your glasses on, right? They're saying you guys are great. Can't wait to cruise with y'all one day. So I think everybody in here should just get on. Let's all head to Mobile right now. James, you hold the ship at the port, and we will get on.
Yeah,
I think you.
I think if we storm it, we could probably take over.
Yeah, if there's enough of us, they can't stop us. They can't stop us.
There's no stopping.
Yeah, and we're all like one happy family. I don't think we'd even need masks, but I don't want to get controversial.
I know the head of security at the.
Oh, do you?
Ooh,
see, he's connected. He's connected.
He is connected.
Oh boy. Okay, we got to get back to the questions. Joy, did you have another question for this connected man? And I don't mean it in a mafioso sort of way. I mean he is in with the cruise industry. He is the cruise community.
Yeah.
Next question.
Your last cruise on Carnival Fantasy was also out of Mobile. I believe that you said it was in 2017. Tell us about that cruise experience.
Well, the 2017, it was another June cruise, and you know that when you sail out of the Atlantic or the Gulf, you have a chance of a tropical storm or hurricane, and so you kind of roll the dice sometimes. Mm-hmm. But it's we knew there was a tropical storm brewing, but hey, we'd already paid for it and booked it, so we got on. I want to say it's June 10th or June 11th of 2017. We settled in Mobile and we made our way to Cozumel because that's the main port of call that leaves out of here. They do Cozumel and either Costa Maya or Progreso.
Oh wow!
They do 4-day to Cozumel only, then they do 5-day to either Costa Maya and Cozumel or Progreso and Cozumel. So that cruise that was one of those boat rocking, don't come a knocking kind of cruises. It was.
Yeah.
The boat was rocking real bad. My wife got seasick. I think the second night before we got into Cozumel, it was raining hard, and you can see a picture of sunset as we left out.
Wow.
Tropical Storm Cindy, here we come. So we knew we were headed out into the Gulf, and we knew they were trying to stay on the outskirts of it, but but I'm telling you, that's one of those, if you sit in the dining room, mm-hmm. you see the water almost come up over the window kind of deals.
Oh my goodness!
It was.
Did your tables move?
No, fortunately, there was nothing like that. But we were going up and down quite a bit, and like I said, the captain kept us informed. We were staying on the outskirts of it, but I have never gotten seasick. That's the closest I ever got.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and like Kelly said, I mean, that's the thing is we noticed that we didn't get anywhere near rough waters when we were on the Carnival Sunshine during Hurricane Dorian, but the sky was pretty because we were looking towards where the hurricane was.
I always get motion sick after the cruise when I'm back on land.
Well, you don't get seasick. You get land sick.
Yeah,
That's a whole
land
different
sick.
thing. I think maybe you should be living on a cruise ship then.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We should both be living on a
I think
cruise
that sounds expensive. Yeah, but like Kelly says, that is a pretty sunset. So
It's
yeah,
gorgeous.
Gotta give you that.
I miss those sunsets, those ocean sunsets.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, hopefully before long.
Definitely.
Right. So we got to welcome somebody else into the house. Somebody else. I'm going to guess James knows these people too, but I don't know. We got Spiker's Crazy Adventures in the house.
Wow.
That's right.
That's a cool name. Spiker's Crazy Adventure.
That's right. It's a great name. And speaking of great things, I got to go back to the clarification from Beach Please. Yeah, they're talking about everybody, especially our wonderful hosts, Joy, Dan, and James. So yeah, we're at the top of the list for once.
I like your channel name, Beach Please.
Yeah. Is that how you're supposed to say it?
I don't
haven't said it wrong
know.
this time.
I'm sorry if it's not the way you're supposed to say it.
I think you've got it. But we should move on. Oh, and I don't think I've mentioned this since the very beginning, but if anybody has any questions, be sure to throw those in the chat. We've got quite a few people here now. But if you have any questions about Carnival Fantasy, about James's experience cruising out of Mobile, about how to get connected like he is, because he's apparently got some connections in the cruise industry here. He knows some secrets that he's not telling us everything, I don't think. But hey, we'll get out of what we can tonight. So let's go back to our questions.
You ask.
You want me to ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about some of the activities on board. Your first cruise, your son was hypnotized. So for anybody that's joined us late on that was quite a funny story. Not a guy you would expect to volunteer or maybe even be susceptible to that. And James said it worked. It worked.
I wonder if it would work on you.
It would not work on me. No. I think maybe the people that think it won't work on them works on them. But anyway, other activities, of course, they have the standard karaoke, trivia, music, dancing, all that kind of stuff. What about entertainment on the Carnival Fantasy? What did you experience in shows? Because I think most of us watching at least live have experienced the Carnival playlist productions or whatever the shows are on those ships. But on a smaller ship, compared to other ships you've been on, is the show a lot smaller in scale? Or did you go to many of those shows? What was your experience with the entertainment?
Obviously, the thing that you miss is those big production shows.
Right.
They don't like I don't know if they started doing Country Road. That's one of our favorite shows. The Carnival does. I don't know if they can do that on the Fantasy Class ship because it incorporates a big background and stuff and like that. So they do the usual, the Broadway style shows. The singers are always good. I'm a big. I grew up in the '80s, so. Anywhere there's 80s music on the ship, you'll find me.
Me too.
Yep. Yeah, we can. That's what I was talking about before. Where if I'm talking to James before, I think we can really relate to some of his interests, whether it's a cowboy ribeye or a good throwback song. Our first cruise we were on. That's when you won your ship on a stick was the 80s music
That's
contest.
the only one I've ever won.
Oh, hey,
it's more than something like that. To show James.
Well, you can show him your ship on a stick later. I'm guessing James has seen him before, and he probably even has some of his own.
Has a few.
Yeah,
I think I've got 6. And
see, now aren't you glad you brought up? Now we're just embarrassed.
It's always the music trivia. I
can always dream and try and reach those goals.
So you're saying that it's always for the music trivia?
Yeah, it's almost 90% of it was music trivia.
Yeah. So we have a question here from everybody's buddy, Chris. So Chris is asking, out of all of your cruises, what has been your all-time favorite ship?
Ooh, good question, Chris.
Yeah.
I love the decor on the Carnival Breeze.
On the Breeze, okay.
The interior was, I want to say, the first two of the Dream class, the Dream and the Magic, they changed to a different designer for the Breeze class. For the Breeze ship, and so I said class. Sorry about that, but they changed to a different designer, and so there's a lot more. To me, there's more of a beach theme. There's some palm trees and stuff through buffet areas and the chairs and all that. So there was a different seating in the buffet lounges and stuff. So the breeze, even though that ship was crowded because it was spring break and there was a ton of people from South Carolina on there, I'll still say that's my all-time favorite ship. I'm got my fingers crossed on the Vista. We're doing the celebration out of Galveston for the Carnival Celebration Cruise next March. So
yeah,
I got my fingers crossed for the Celebration Cruise.
Okay, so I think a lot of the people that are watching live are probably familiar with what you're talking about with the celebration, but I'm thinking people that watch this later may be going, what's he talking about? He's saying is that his Alabama accent where he's saying celebration kind of different? You're not saying celebration exactly, right? You're saying celebration, right?
That's right.
Can you tell people watching?
I grew up in East Tennessee. I grew up in the hills of East Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
And my wife said that when we moved to Alabama, it got worse.
I don't notice an accent.
No, it's all good. So can you kind of just give us a rough idea for people watching that may not know what are you talking about with this Carnival celebration? What is that?
Well, as most of the people know, 2022 will be the 50-year celebration of the very first Carnival Cruise.
Wow!
And
nice.
They came up with a new ship, the Mardi Gras. I think the next one after that's the Celebration. We actually had the Mardi Gras booked, and it was one of the cruises that got canceled. They didn't get canceled due to the pandemic. It got canceled because it was delayed on being built. But the 2022 Celebration cruises, they'll be doing a Gulf Coast meetup. They'll be doing an Atlantic Coast meetup, and they're going to be doing a meetup on the ships that sail out of California. So it's going to be a great celebration company-wide. They're going to have a meetup out at sea. There's going to be like 4 or 5 ships together at a time in some of these places. And I'm guessing they're going to be doing
so cool.
They may be doing some fireworks and some other things.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be doing some retro things that used to be on the ships. I think they may bring back the midnight buffet.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Stuff like that people used to love and talk about that. So it's going to be a great experience. And like I said, we've got the Vista out of Galveston booked for that one, so we're looking for it. I think Nautical Nurse Nancy's going to be on that one I saw. So
cool.
If Nautical Nurse Nancy's on there, it's going to be a unique experience.
It's going to be a good time, yeah.
You'll have to tell us all about it. We'll be excited. We'll be waiting to see the videos.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if we could get that to work. I don't know if that'll work with our schedule, but sounds like such an awesome experience.
It does.
I mean, the midnight buffet alone, I've only seen that in pictures. We haven't experienced that personally, but not just the idea of a buffet at midnight, but I imagine they'll be doing what they did before with the fruit and ice sculptures and just like making it a big presentation.
Yeah.
Probably doing kind of a retro look.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
So we had mentioned here, so you go back here just a little bit. It looks like, so Kelly from Kelly's Cruises, Crafts, and Quilts booked a cruise today.
Hey,
so
Kelly.
That's pretty exciting. That's worth celebrating.
Yeah.
Speaking of celebrations. And it looks like she's taking a Pacific Coastal.
Nice.
From Vancouver. Oh, on the Discovery, just to LA, on the Discovery Princess. Wow, that sounds like a good one.
So that must mean Canada is opening up, Kelly?
Well, I mean, they better open for at least departures, or else she's not going to be able to go anywhere. Let's not talk like that. Let's.
No, I'm excited that she's getting to sail.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Our Alaskan cruise was canceled this year because we were going to sail from Vancouver to Alaska. That was going to be our first HAL cruise.
Oh,
we were on the EECC group cruise.
Oh, sure.
And now they've moved it over to 2022, the same week of September.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our next one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I think Kelly, you'll be fine. But Holland America. So you've been on Carnival. Have you been on other cruise lines besides Carnival? I mean, Holland America in the future, it sounds like, but
we had a Disney cruise booked in 2017 after our Mobile cruise. We had September. We were booked on the Disney Dream. Our other son has he's a part-time travel agent with travel agency, and he got us a real good deal on a 4-day Disney cruise.
Oh,
and
wow.
We were going to do that, and Hurricane Irma struck.
Oh, those hurricanes.
we couldn't go to Disney World because Disney World was going to shut down for a day.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah, I remember that.
We booked a flight to LA and went to Disneyland for that
Oh,
one.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
Making lemonade out of lemonades.
No, that's not the saying, Amy. That's not the saying at all. Good. Making.
I'm sorry, everyone. When I get tired, I flip things around.
Sure.
It's my
So let's
dyslexia.
move on. Let's. Hey, Tyler saved the day. Tyler,
Yay.
welcome in. Tyler, good to see you here. And and it's somebody else that James knows, I'm sure. And we got to back up here because I can just totally imagine this when we're talking about ships on the stick, and we're talking about the one we have, the one sad one we have, and James is talking about his collection. Beach Please has several of them, and it's from shaking their butts on stage.
Really?
I can picture that.
You can do that.
That's well, I will watch you do that, but yeah, I can see them doing that. We got some awesome people in here, so we got to thank y'all for joining us.
Yeah, definitely.
Making lemonade out of lemonade. That's your quote of the day. Congratulations. We're gonna have to mark that. That's gonna be on YouTube forever.
Is it making lemons out of lemonade?
How do you make lemons out of a lemon drink?
I don't know. Wait.
What ingredient do you need to make? Let me move on. I think everybody watching right now knows how to make lemonade, right? So let's move on. Oh boy.
Oh, it's making lemonade out of lemons.
Sure, that works. Okay.
Sorry.
Do you have a question on the topic of Carnival Fantasy for our friend James?
I guess so. What is your last memory of being on board the Carnival Fantasy?
Well, everybody hates the debarkation. When we got back in, this is the last memory I have. We were waiting. We were delayed, I think, about 3 hours coming into port because of Tropical Storm Cindy, and it had just Mobile and the whole Gulf Coast here had gotten a ton of rain. So the bad thing about Mobile is it's almost like New Orleans in it, that some of the cities like under sea level. So there's a lot of areas in the town that are prone to flooding. So the roads near the cruise port were flooded, and our next door neighbor was coming to pick us up. She had to go all the way up to Bay Minette, Alabama, which if you want to, Bay Minette's 30 miles north of Mobile.
Oh.
She could drive up to Bay Minette and come back down I-65 then back into Mobile, south to Mobile. So we called her when we got back into port. It took her, I think, an hour and a half to get to the port, which we lived 15 minutes from the port.
Wow.
But she was a trooper through it and come down and picked us up. And
that's a friend.
A rainy day, too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of roads flooded. The causeway, which there's two ways to get across the Mobile Bay here. There's the I-10 bridge, and then there's the causeway, and the causeway was flooded, so that was shut down.
Wow.
And so if you're ever in Mobile, that's where all the good restaurants are, is on the causeway.
Right.
Good
to know.
Yeah.
You might go there sometime.
We'll have to check that out.
Check it out.
Yeah. So you want to ask, how about one more question about the Carnival?
You ask a question. It's your turn.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
My turn. I just want to hear you say something about fruit again. Okay. So we've kind of covered a lot of this, and maybe this is a repeat of what you said before, but I got to ask you to summarize Carnival Fantasy. Let's wrap it up with a nice bow. What's your fondest memory you can think of? Even if it's something you already mentioned, what's a fondest memory you can think of from the Carnival Fantasy?
I think anybody's one of their best memories is the day you get on the ship.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing like it. And even though it's a smaller class, it was with that last, when you get from the last of the gangway and you step on those wood planks.
Yeah.
That's just a unique experience that I relish each time I get on a ship. And getting on the first time on the fantasy class was a unique experience. So I'd say that 2010 cruise was the best one. That was the first time and only time we've been to Key West. So getting to go to Key West and on that cruise and seeing my son get hypnotized.
Right. Yeah, that's all. That's a lot of good memories just from what you're describing. It sounds like you had a lot of good times.
Yeah, he
And
kind of looks like Mike Rodriguez in that picture.
let's put him up again. There you go.
I
There you
bet
go.
he's loving you about this.
Oh, it's
He's
all
like,
good.
oh,
It's all
Dad.
good.
Oh, he hates my videos.
Oh, yeah.
I used to make movies, and the reason those are not online is because when I made the movies, I always put copyrighted music in there. I always picked music that made me think of that cruise. I had a lot of Van Morrison songs.
Oh, yeah.
Love Van Morrison, and I had a lot of his songs. A lot of anything that had to do with selling. Christopher Cross. Anything that done with selling. I'll even plug in. I had Sticks. Come Sail Away. I had that in the song in there too. So I had all them made up to music, and I just played them, for family when we come back. And I would always sit down and put all those into like one big 1 hour video and come back, and we come back and show everybody what we did. So that's why some of them videos will never be on YouTube, because I guess I could extrapolate the sound from them, but
Yeah.
the quality is, you saw I put the 2009 cruise. I went back and just took a bunch of pictures and some video and put those together. And the quality of the video back then, even though it's only like 12 years ago, was so so it was so bad. It was only like 360 or 360p.
Right.
That was good quality back then, but now you're talking about 4K and even better.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast things are progressing.
Technology changes quickly. And you don't realize what we were dealing with before, how rough it was. But yeah, trying to go back and patch together old photos or old video of old cruises, that's sounds like a tricky task to do.
To go from the telephone to a mobile phone to who knows next.
Are you philosophizing? Okay.
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying how fast technology has.
Technology goes fast. Yes, that's true.
Yes.
That's true. So let's ask one more question about Carnival Fantasy. Then we've got a couple other questions off topic to talk to you about. But we need to ask you. We asked you about your fondest memory of Carnival Fantasy. I'm not going to ask you your least favorite memory. Like, we're not going to diss the lovely ship at this tribute that we're having here.
Carnival, we like you.
Yeah, well, we do.
Just making sure they're not listening.
Well, he's connected. He might.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he might. Okay.
Well,
Anyway,
I met Christine Duffy one time.
Oh,
see,
wow.
he knows Christine Duffy, close personal friend.
But the strange thing about that, she come down for the inaugural selling of the Fantasy out of Mobile in 2016, and she walked right by me, and I didn't know who it was. And I think I said something like "Hey" to her, something like that. And she walked right by me, and when this little room was on the phone, and I told my wife, I said, I think that's somebody important. And then we started doing some digging and found out it was Christine Duffy. And I thought, well, then there was somebody guarding the door, so I couldn't go in there and say, hey, I want to, thank you for bringing Carnival back to Mobile. But I got to meet her halfway, you can say. I just sort of half spoke as she walked by.
Yeah. Wow. It's funny, the people that you run into.
Yeah. Or who they say that they are, and I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's another story. Tune in next week for Joy's story about lemons and people she's met that made up stuff. Actually, we're not on next week, so you'll have to tune in 2 weeks. And anyway, last question on Carnival Fantasy. I got to ask you, tell us about this picture.
Well, that was the last day that she. Well, I wasn't sure if it was the last day, but that was the last time she was in the port here in Mobile. And me and my wife were driving around that day. We both were off, and I said, I think the ship's in port. So we drove down and seen it, and we pulled down this other road. If the terminal there is the building on the left, that's got kind of the white spire coming out of it. And you couldn't see the ship from there, so I went to this other little road to the right, which I wouldn't know if I was supposed to go down it or not, but I got down it. I got a picture of the ship, and I posted on Instagram, and Carnival immediately messaged me back and wanted to know if they could use it. And I said, of course you can. I love Carnival, and I miss cruising. And so I don't know what they did with it, because they never did repost on their account. So I don't know what they did with that picture of the Fantasy, but I think they knew then that maybe something was coming down the road. It was going to be scrapped.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to put it under kind of a memory wall at their office or something. So
maybe, and maybe it'll still show up. I mean,
Yeah.
with the celebration coming up, I think they're going to be wanting to put up a lot of nostalgic photos on social media and elsewhere. So I could definitely see that. That's the mood of that photo. I think you just captured it really well. Just kind of randomly going to try to capture a last shot of the ship before it disappeared.
Well, I got out of the car and I was waving at the crew and everything. I was trying to get their attention, tell them how much we missed them.
Wow. Yeah. Like we miss them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it was really sad the way the Carnival Fantasy had to disappear during all of this chaos we've been going through. But so we really appreciate the chance to talk to you about Carnival Fantasy. But we gotta ask you a little bit. And I know, keep in mind, the people watching now, I think most people that are on the live show are familiar with you and are familiar with your channel, and familiar with your Instagram for that matter. But people are going to be watching this later. So when people come to hear about Carnival Fantasy, we want them to hear about your YouTube channel. Can you tell us, for those of us that don't know, what sort of videos have you featured on your YouTube channel in the past? What have you shown?
Well, I went back and showed some of the stuff from the past that we've done. But one of my favorite things to do is time lapse pictures. I do time lapses. I put some time lapses on the YouTube channel. Always a sunset or sunrise, something like that. I love that type of photography. I used to have an old school 35 millimeter camera. I used to go hiking up in the mountains in Tennessee to get sunrise from the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
I would hike up to waterfalls, get some waterfall pictures. Anywhere that there was photography like that. And so to me, it was a way to start sharing my road trips. We've been fortunate when all the cruises got canceled that we have been able to go back and say, okay, we went to Vegas, got to see the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been working on this road trip series, and we just finished another one that we went to Savannah and St. Augustine.
Right.
Now I'll be posting my next road trip. We went to Myrtle Beach and Charleston. That'll be next, but I think the next one I'm gonna post out this Wednesday will be I just got back this past week and had an off day and we went down to the Gulf Coast Hot Air Balloon Festival.
Ooh,
oh, nice.
Yeah. I saw a news story about that. That looks so cool.
It's he's supposed to be talking.
Oh, sorry.
And no surprise. I'm not surprised that when we had James on, this would happen. We've actually run over, so we need to kind of wrap things up. We're going to ask you very quickly about your Instagram account too. I know you post a lot of awesome photos on there too. What can people look for on your Instagram account? And just in case it's not clear, it wasn't obvious, his Instagram and his YouTube channel are linked in the description below. Be sure to go and check it out. Check out both of his accounts. Subscribe if you haven't already. You're going to love what James has to share. What do you share on your Instagram account?
There again, sunset, a lot of sunset.
Mm-hmm.
I love sunsets. I think it's a wonderful way that God paints the sky each and every night.
Yeah.
Especially when there's clouds. When there's clouds around, it just really enhances the picture. And Dauphin Island, which is the main beach here that's closest to Mobile, it's just south on Dauphin Island Parkway. It's called the sunset capital of the world. So I've been trying to go down and get some more sunsets. You can drive across the bay to Fairhope. I do a lot of photography over there. And I love to go to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach and Pensacola. So you'll see me post a lot of pictures around here locally. There's fixing to be an event downtown here. They closed down Bienville Square, which is a cool little square, kind of like if you've been to Savannah and all these other old historic towns. They have squares and little parks. And so they close down the streets and they allow people to roller skate around it.
Oh, fun.
So I'm going to go down there and check it out and hopefully get some video of that and some pictures downtown for that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love taking pictures. Like I said, I was into old school photography and the phone I got this last time lets you do a lot of manual settings.
Right.
And so I love to do the manual settings on the phone and adjust it to where I can make those pictures look more like what my eye sees.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That takes some skills. I wish I could say that I was that good at that. I tend to rely on what the phone or camera tells me it can automatically do, which I think that's the case for most people that post photos online. It's just they do the auto iPhone, whatever settings. So it's great when you see somebody like you that can capture a really magical shot like that.
Yeah.
And James, it's time. We've run over. We need to thank you for joining us. I knew we'd love having you on here, and we really enjoyed it. And we're going to ask you to come back again. So
Definitely.
I hope you're game. We'll talk about some other experiences. We'll move on from the Carnival Fantasy. Not that the ship will be forgotten, but there's other things to talk about. And we just want to thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thanks
thank you
for
for having me. I'm not good at this live stuff, and
no,
that's great.
Job of making me feel comfortable. I really enjoyed our talk a couple weeks ago.
Yep,
it made me feel real comfortable because I really feel like you all are. What's the old saying is you're my type of people.
Yep, we agree 100%.
We agree.
And we'll be in touch, and we'll arrange to get you here on the near future again, hopefully before too long. And thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you all.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, so that was James from Travel Mobile. We want to thank all of you for stopping by and joining us. We really appreciated you putting up with our technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a Cruise Day Fun live show if we didn't have some technical problems, even if it's as simple as pushing a button to make the show start. I got to put that on. I got a list of things I got to remember to do. Does it say to push the live button?
I don't know.
I got to add that to there. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. And like I said earlier, we're not going to be able to be live next Monday. It's the first time we're going to miss it. But somebody here got our shots and is finally able to travel, so she's going to go see her parents.
Yes, I'm
and
so excited.
she'll be flying at the time that we'll be normally doing our Monday night 7:00 show. But tune in 2 weeks. May 24th, we've got mother-daughter cruisers coming by, and we really look forward to having them on. It's another couple of travelers who really are awesome to watch on YouTube, and we hope you join us.
Mm-hmm.
Mother-daughter cruisers on Monday, May 24th at 7 p.m.
All right.
And we do this every Monday except for next Monday. So thanks again for watching us, and if you are watching this on rerun, tune in Mondays at 7:00 Eastern Time.
Yeah.
That's right. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe. Mm-hmm. And, we want to thank you for watching, right? Isn't that what you usually say?
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carnival Fantasy forever.
Yay!